A title, The More Things Change, the More They Stay the Same. Hampton National Historic Site, The Story of America. A quote, during this period the redemptioners, European indentured servants, were as liable to corporeal and other punishment as were any of the Negroes or life slaves. James McHenry Howard, half-brother of the fourth mistress of Hampton, Margaretta Howard Ridgely. The painting La Mulata shows a black woman stirring a pitcher beside a white woman and a child.
Since its inception, the English colony, which later becomes the United States, was a place of the haves and have-nots.
In an old photo, a servant woman holds a large pot.
Mostly the have-nots, working for 1 to 2% of the population that control the majority of the new country's wealth. Very much like it is today.
George Washington is depicted in a field overseeing laborers.
At Hampton and places like it during the 1700s, European indentured servants and enslaved Africans worked side by side.
A sketch shows a white servant woman being whipped.
White and black bodies were whipped, ate the same lousy food, wore the same crappy clothing. Some cases even escaping together because it was not about you're black, I'm white. It was more about we are both being oppressed.
A sketch shows a chained black man. Portraits depict a regal man and woman.
The Ridgeleys were equal opportunity oppressors. It was more about class than color.
More portraits show Charles and Priscilla Ridgely.
People resisted and fought back just like today.
A Trump protest fills a city street.
The powers that be created an illusion of difference based on skin color to create divisions between whites and blacks so they would remain in control.
A protest sign, Wake Up, America.
Still, today, 1% of the population controls the majority of this country's wealth. Divisions are made based on ethnicity, religion, skin color, and nationality. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
A portrait shows Charles Ridgely with gray hair and a black overcoat.
Fast forward to the 1800s, Charles Carnan Ridgely, second master of the Hampton estate, is one of the largest slaveholders and landowners in not only Maryland, but in the United States. He enslaves up to 300 people at any given time, and upon his death, he released some of the enslaved with age stipulations.
A maid looks at call bells.
A 2-year-old would have to stay. If you are 45 years or older, you didn't go free. The way he wrote his will, slavery would have never ended.
A photo shows enslaved children, then a sketch depicts a family on an auction block.
Destruction of the enslaved families on the Ridgely's plantations is not limited to ages. Case in point, Ridgely bequeaths a young Phoebe Cummings and her 4-year-old son Henry like pieces of furniture to different family members on separate plantations.
A close-up of the family fades to a recent photo of Border Patrol agents.
In 2018, the dismemberment of black and brown families still goes on.
Detained immigrants sit on the side of a dirt road.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
A black and white photo shows hands sticking through prison bars.
The Baltimore County Jail now sits on the very same land that once was owned by a freed African American community from Hampton. It incarcerates the second largest number of black bodies in Maryland and the highest black jail population in the entire United States. The prison pipeline is real, beginning at Hampton to the county jail. All done with the permission of the 13th Amendment.
The text of the amendment appears.
Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have duly convicted, shall exist within the United States.
13th Amendment, Section 1.
The more things change, the more that some people want them to stay the same.
Text by A. Anokwale Anansa Semfo. Credits, music, instrumental music interlude from Don't Leave Me Daddy by Marion Harris, freemusicarchive.org. Eyes on the Prize performed by the original Freedom Singers, Charles Neblett and Rutha Harris at the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center, Cincinnati, Ohio, 2014. SoundCloud recording by Dina Weinstein, used with permission. Image credits, Jose Joaquin Magon, La Mulata, 18th Century Painting, Private Collection, Nuevo Leon, Mexico, Wikimedia Commons. Morwen Servant by John Thomas, Leifchel Genedlethal Cymru, John Thomas Collection at the National Library of Wales, Flickr.com. The Life of George Washington the Farmer, lithographed by Junius Brutus Stern, circa 1853, Wikimedia Commons, and Library of Congress Prints and Photographs Division. The Life of Mother Brownrigg, the Torturer and Murderess of Parish Apprentices, the New Newgate Calendar, number 48, volume 1, and more. Logos, the National Park Service and National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom. Text, this story was produced in a workshop facilitated by Story Center. Listen deeply, tell stories. www.storycenter.org